Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching and welcome to today's video. I'm going to do a review on some new makeup brushes, and I know you guys always want to know what brushes I use and good brushes that I would recommend. So I'm going to test out some brushes. I went ahead and started my skincare. I used my Oh So Heavenly skincare range. I used the serum. I also used the Renew and Replenished Anti-Wrinkle Eye Cream, and then I went in with my SPF 15 day cream to kind of prep my skin. Okay, so the elephant in the room, of course, this massive plaster on my hand. This morning as I was taking the chicken out of the freezer, I wanted to remove 2 breasts because I didn't want to cook all of them, and as I was trying to break off 2 pieces, the chicken still had the bone and the skin on, and the bone completely sliced open my hand. It's so painful and I didn't want to show you guys an open wound, so just please ignore this little plaster. But the brand of brushes that I'm going to be reviewing is called Nura Cosmetics. So the case is kind of like a brownie leather, just says Nura. Okay, so on Instagram it is called Shop Nura Cosmetics. So that's what the feed looks like. They have looks like they have like lashes and brushes, cruelty free, all of that. Okay, so the actual brushes that I have is 380 Rand for the 8-piece set, and I just love the way these look. They're so pretty. So this is the case, and then the brushes come in this little bag, and then it looks like each of them are like individually wrapped as well. So I'm going to take all of these out, and we're just going to do my makeup and see how these brushes perform. If I don't mention all of the makeup products that I use in this video, I will link all of them down below. So if you are curious to know which products I use, just check the description box. I will also leave a link for these brushes as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and do some primer. This is my favorite one from Essence. I'm going to use a pretty liquidy foundation, and I want to finish this one anyway, so all over my cream jersey. That was not the best idea to wear this. Okay, so I'm gonna try and finish this one. I completely ruined my top. So the first brush that I'm using is looking like a foundation brush, so I'm going to not use a beauty blender today. I always use a beauty blender, but I'm going to use these brushes as much as I can, obviously to review them and tell you how they are. And right off the bat, I love this brush. It's so soft, you guys. Love it. And one of the main reasons I don't like using foundation brushes like this is because the brush soaks up majority of your foundation. So I'm going to show you a little close-up. So as you can see, the foundation brush kind of soaked up a lot of that foundation, and if I do like a close-up, you can see that it blended it really nicely. But if you want like a really full coverage, I would honestly recommend a damp beauty blender. Okay, so next I'm going to do a little bit of concealer. I'm just going to use the applicator to kind of like apply it, and then I'm going to use this little brush. So it's a little bit of a smaller version than the one we just used, and it's a little bit longer as well. It looks like the perfect concealer brush to me. Let's see, I normally use a beauty blender, but I'm actually really impressed with this concealer one because the concealer is a little bit thick. thicker than the foundation. I think it's doing a really good job at blending it out. Woo! One of the hairs came onto my skin. I don't know if you guys can see. Okay, so I really like these two brushes, but as I said, they kind of soak up the product, and that's something you will get if you have like a really dense fluffy brush like this. They tend to soak up some of the product, but if you use them a couple of times, they don't soak up as much anymore because they've obviously been used a couple of times. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but new brushes or freshly cleaned brushes soak up a lot more product than when you've used them a couple of times. So like these two, if you want to do like a diffused, very blended look, but obviously not if you want to sit on the foundation onto your skin and have like a full coverage look. But I'm going to do some powder, and I'm going to use the fluffy brush as part of this collection. This one isn't as you know, dense. The bristles move a little bit easier, but it is still dense and very fluffy and very soft. So I'm just going to take some powder and just dust it. These brushes don't have a bad smell. I find that sometimes when you order brushes online, they have like this chemical smell to them, and these ones don't, so that's a good thing. My favorite part is bronzing my skin up, and I always use like a big fluffy brush similar to this size to kind of just, you know, bronze up my entire skin. But this is obviously a powder brush. You can use this for bronzer as well, but I wanted to test out this one. It's kind of like an angled, typical contour type of brush. It's a little bit flatter. It's also white, so it's not that same color as the other brushes, and it has a little bit of an angle to it, so it kind of gives you that perfect snatch opportunity to kind of chisel out your cheekbones and just to carve out your skin, so, or your face. So I'm gonna use this one with my favorite bronzer. I just mixed two shades from this Maybelline bronze palette. I'm not gonna do a cream contour because I'm just not that into cream contouring. So I'm it picks up product really nicely, if you can see that. And I'm just going to, this one isn't as dense, but it's still very soft. So let's see how this blends. And then I like to go along my forehead, and I normally use, like I said, a big fluffy brush, and sometimes I go too much onto my forehead, and I think this brush helps you control the amount you put on a little bit better, but it does pick up a lot of product. So if you have a bronzer, little will go a long way. And also sometimes I have to kind of press translucent powder, loose translucent powder like underneath to chisel out my cheekbones, but this brush is actually doing everything all at once for you. I really like this one. I'm gonna take a little bit of product, not too much, and see how this one brush does like my contouring that I do. So I want to see how it works for the nose a little bit, because sometimes you just want like a little bit of shadows and not like a hectic nose contour, and it looks like it's doing a pretty good job. So I don't see a blush brush in this collection, but I use my bronzer and my blush brush as one most of the time anyway. So I'm just going to use the same brush, and because it's small, you can kind of get the apples really nicely. I'm just going to do a little bit of blush. Sorry, the camera cut out there. This one is from Tarte. is my favorite blush at the moment. It's like a rosy shade, especially for winter time because it's winter here in South Africa. Okay, and then I'm gonna take I don't know what this brush is used for, but let's do the same brush and just do a little bit of highlighter. I use this highlighter from the same palette that we used for the bronzer, and I'm just gonna do, I always do like on the high tops, you know, where the sun will, or the light will naturally hit your face. A little bit on the chin, and then I always take my finger for the nose. I actually want to do this Essence palette. I've been using this, it's called the Glow, it's kind of reflecting, it's called the Glow to Go. It's really pretty. So I'm going to use the gold one. Okay, so that's basically the face. I normally do some setting spray. So this one is just from Essence. It's the Hydra Charge. Okay, and then I want to use this fluffy brush. This one. It's kind of like a big fluffy brush. And I want to use this for my crease. And then I'm just taking the bronzer and I'm just running it through my crease, or just a little bit above my crease to kind of give some depth. We're just doing like an everyday look that I would normally do, just to kind of like test out these brushes. Of course, they're not going to do anything crazy. You guys, I really like this brush. It blends so nicely. Kind of doesn't give you that like harsh lines you would normally get with some eyeshadow brushes. And then I'm just going to use whatever's left on the brush and just define my nose a little bit more. Okay, so the brushes that we haven't used are these three. So they are kind of like eye brushes. So if you want to do like a smoky eye, you can use this one for your crease. And then this to me looks like the perfect cut crease brush to kind of put the concealer on there. And then this is either a eyebrow brush or you can use it for like liquid liner. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this one over here, the flat tapered brush. I think that's what they call it. Okay, so with this brush, I'm going to pick up a little bit of highlighter and I'm literally going to kind of put that in the inner part of my eye, just a little bit, up until like the middle. I actually want to try a little bit of this pinky rose one from this Glow to Go palette from Essence and just see if that kind of ties it together. Okay, so this brush really picks up the shadows really nicely. So if you can see how nicely it's put that on there. So I'm just going to go back in with that crease brush and just blend kind of like harsh lines. I want it to look really nice and blended. And then I'm gonna go in with this pencil eye brush. So while I use this How to Make Brows Well palette for my mirror, I am going to use this Love 'Em All. You get Love Blondes, Love 'Em All, and Love Brunettes. So Love 'Em All is kind of like an in the middle shade. So I'm gonna use that tapered, not like a pencil brush, and I'm going to kind of like deepen up the outer part. So if you can see, you can use this brush for very focused parts of the eye, and you can even go and use this for the lower part of the eye, just like the first third, like the outer third. What I also think this would be really nice for is if you like to do like the little point on your nose like I do. I just do it with my finger, but you can do the little point and then drag it up a little bit so you do like an exclamation, so it catches the light perfectly. I think this brush would be perfect for that as well. And then I just want to go and just blend the edges, because a pencil brush isn't really made for blending out. It's kind of made for those small areas, so you kind of just want to go back and just blend it all out again. The one thing they didn't include in this set was a spoolie, but the last brush that I'm going to be using is this one, and as I said, you can kind of use it as a eyeliner or for your brows. Now I think this would be perfect if this part of the brush had a little spoolie on it, so you would have kind of like a brush like this with a spoolie on one end and your little applicator on the other end. So that's just what I would have done, but I have a spoolie. So if you don't have a spoolie, just get yourself a little spoolie, and then I just brush my eyebrows up. I'm gonna show you how I do one to kind of test it out, and then I'll just do the other one off camera. So I'm gonna use kind of like a pot brow product. This one is from Essence. It's called the Essence Eyebrow Gel in the shade Brown, and I like to kind of wet my hand a little bit sometimes and just wet the brush so you can get a more even product, if you know what I mean. Okay, so I'm gonna come a little bit closer and just see. Okay, it didn't pick up much. And see if that works a little bit better. So I mainly do the bottom, and then I kind of just fill in the sparse areas and flick up this part. I like a bit more of a natural brow. Okay, I like that. So I'm gonna do a little bit of brow gel. So this is obviously the before and the after. I'm gonna do some brow gel and do some mascara and some lips, and then I think we are done. So that is everything. I hope you guys enjoyed this little brush review. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't yet. I would love to have you guys. I do makeup tutorials, fashion videos, hair videos, anything to do with beauty, lifestyle. I also do a little bit of vlogs. So if you are not part of the family, I would love to have you. So thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in my next video, and then I'll see you very soon. Bye.